Hello, my name is Humphrey Curtis. This talk is about our paper, Beyond Repairing with Electronic Speech, Towards Embodied Communication and Assistive Technology, undertaken by myself and my advisor, Dr. Timothy Neate, at King's College London. A landmark moment in Western philosophy and science occurred with Descartes' dualist first principle, I think, therefore I am, which instantiated a foundationalist view that the mind and body were separate, meaning consciousness was reducible to processes occurring only within the mind. In recent years, the Cartesian dualist position, which omits the role of the body, has been significantly weakened by both neuroscientific and biological findings. Since the 1960s, augmentative and alternative communication devices, or speech-generating devices, have emerged as a technology designed to offer opportunities for people living with complex communication needs to produce electronic speech through composing messages using symbol or lexical representations of language. Yet recent research has found this AAC device design to underplay many communities' pre-existing autonomy and more embodied forms of communicative expression. Looking beyond verbal dialogue, many communities living with complex communication needs actively harness total and non-verbal communication strategies to successfully communicate. Turning to philosophies on embodiment, starting in the early 20th century, Husserl and his student Heidegger began the philosophical enterprise of phenomenology. They sought to ground and understand the human experience of the world. However, the conception of embodiment features most strongly in the subsequent phenomenology of perception, developed by Merleau-Ponty. He distinguished two notions of the body: the objective body, our size and weight, and the lived body, the body through which we act and experience the world. Notably, Merleau-Ponty's lived body postulates that world experience is fundamentally composed of bodily experience and not just mental cognition. Subsequently, Merleau-Ponty's work has strongly influenced more recent enactivist phenomenologies. Enactivist theory argues that cognition can arise from the dynamic interaction between the lived body and the environment. This theory enables the possibility for extended minds, and that cognition can even depend on environmental resources. Returning to technology, Don Ide's post-phenomenology builds upon the contribution of phenomenology by focusing more strongly on the role of technological artifacts and their relation to human experience. Eamon Rapp has extended these post-phenomenological frameworks to constitute human relations with wearable technologies. Rapp argues that wearable devices can serve as extensions of our motor and conscious intentionality and can even alter how we relate to the world. In much the same way, assistive technologies can extend intentionality and actively mediate users' world relations. Indeed, first-person internalistic experiences of using assistive technologies reveal that assistive technologies can alter people's bodily action, environmental experience, and even cognition. Embodied frameworks of human cognition and human relation to technology can thus serve as a rich conceptual framework for designing and developing assistive technologies. More recently, phenomenological accounts from Tombs have reinforced embodied relations with assistive technologies. She reflects on her own experience as a wheelchair user. For the person who routinely uses a wheelchair, the device becomes part of the body. One intuitively allows for the width of the wheels when going through a doorway. One performs the necessary hand and arm movements to move forward and backwards without thinking about it. Thus, when a stranger pushes my wheelchair without my permission, it is invading my personal bodily space. For Tombs, the wheelchair becomes a part of her body, and the tangible hand and arm gestures for interaction become second nature, not requiring significant conscious thought. Accessibility scholarship has repeatedly emphasized the importance of engaging end users and stakeholders directly within the design process. Participatory design provides a method and vision for involving the users of assistive technologies directly within the design process. To emphasize the importance of the embodied framework, we draw on qualitative insights from co-designing AAC. In total, we held 14 co-design activities at the Roberta Williams Speech and Language Therapy Clinic across a 14-month period, beginning in July 2022. Aphasia is an acquired language impairment most commonly caused by stroke, but can be the result of any damage to the language centers of the brain. It can affect reading, writing, speech, and comprehension. Vignettes were derived from reflective analysis of the researchers' extensive engagement with older adults living with aphasia. Raymond has lived with aphasia for over 10 years. Most days he is fatigued. It's down to the medication, causing him nightly discomforts. Vocal and technological competency are key to Raymond's sense of identity and must be endorsed by AAC technology. Within pressured contexts involving communication with strangers, Raymond's anxiety causes him to freeze, rendering him unable to download his dialogue. For Raymond, AAC design insights were established using the embodied model. The context-specific nature of his communication anxieties suggests any AAC should be regulatable and only needed just during challenging episodes. During ensuing co-design activities, Raymond proposed that smartwatch AAC could provide discrete haptic sensations, prompting mindful breathing and self-regulation of his contextual speech anxiety. Joy has right-sided hemiplegic bodily paralysis caused by her stroke in 2018. Joy has much self-belief, and she will not hesitate to complain if a coffee order is wrong. I will, no, you can hear me, can I have my say please? Do you know what I mean? Indeed, Joy is partially verbal but greatly enjoys communicating verbally through abrupt changes in tone, pitch, and loudness to add dramatic depths. Non-verbally, Joy communicates through a diverse array of animated facial expressions, left-handed pointing/gestures, pantomiming, and interjecting with steer-ups, i.e. teeth kissing, to communicate disapproval. For Joy, 2 AAC design insights were established using the embodied model. Presently, Joy has the confidence to spend much time in challenging environments for communication and mobility. Therefore, any AAC must be comfortably operable within these contexts without impacting her mobility or causing public stigmas. Next, AAC must not interfere with Joy's diverse cultural heritage, including distinctive language practices and West Indian Creole dialects. With regards to wider research, the embodied framework recognizes the importance of AAC working in unison with the brain, body, and environment, yet in these areas AAC has several design shortcomings. For our co-designers, archetypal AAC interventions that generate speech would replace their dialogue and communication strengths. In contrast, the embodied model has disrupted prevailing modes of thinking and provided novel design insights that look beyond traditional AAC functionality. Our first recommendation focuses on communication beyond words. Devices that speech generate can undermine co-designers' empowering nonverbal modes. This is a medicalized approach. Nonverbal strategies represent natural variation in human communication and should not be diminished by AAC interventions. Our next recommendation notes that AAC should not diminish users' pre-existing competencies. Indeed, the vignettes emphasize that our co-designers are already competent and resourceful communicators. Finally, we recommend the development of more regulatable AAC technology. Many assistive technologies face abandonment from their communities. The reasons for abandonment can be highly varied, complex, and personal. However, a more embodied framework of cognition can provide useful reflection and support the generation of more enriching approaches. Firstly, researchers must be more cognizant that personal identity and experience can be shaped by assistive technology. Secondly, with the increasing prominence of AI solutions, researchers must be reminded that we are not designing technology to repair bodies. Indeed, AI may improve the naturalness of AAC speech synthesis, yet AAC users can often already communicate competently leveraging their body, or choose not to communicate via oral speech. Thirdly, embodied assistive technologies serve as an enhancing bodily extension, extending human abilities intuitively and ensuring minimal cognitive demands. We discourage from assistive technologies that burden users with effortful mental tasks in public domains. In this work, we contributed new literature concerning embodied and enactive theories of human experience and post-phenomenological accounts of human relations with technology. We draw connections with accessibility scholarship and present a more embodied theoretical framework of cognition. Many thanks for watching.